So they're all, we do this every few years. Right before COVID, we took the same type of trips from Memphis to New Orleans to where we connected all the Pittsburgh and all that stuff.
Okay, at 6 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. If everyone will please stand for the prayer and the pledge. Dr. Whalen, will you lead us in both, please?
Father, we just thank you for this beautiful spring day and this beautiful spring season and this beautiful community. We welcome the new growth of the spring and the progress of the spring. Father, we just thank you for the cooperative relationships that have developed between this city and its administration and the other cities in the area and the county. And we just ask that you continue to bless the deliberations that we have here and guide us in the proper way to keep this town the way that you would have it be. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the third item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from previous meetings, and the first one being March the 21st, 2023. Have you all had a chance to review them? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the March 21st, 2023 minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the March 21st council meeting minutes.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Christie, let's have a roll call.
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
And Bill. Okay. April the 6th, 2023, special called. Do I have a motion to approve these minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of that meeting.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Christie, we'll start with you.
Yes.
Okay. Angie?
Yes.
And Dr. Whaley. Okay, motion passes. Okay, we'll have either approval of agenda or motion to amend the agenda.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda by removing item 8A to allow for all council members to be present, and then we'll put it on the next agenda.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote. Christie?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
And Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Motion is, the agenda is amended to reflect the changes. Okay, we will now have public hearings for two items. First one being a zoning ordinance amending the zoning map for the city of Blue Ridge. And Eric, as zoning administrator, if you will briefly go over this. And this is the second reading.
Yes, this completes the rezoning request by the Fannin County Board of Commissioners to rezone the property at 2290 East First Street from residential agricultural district to the commercial district of C2, and this is for the construction of the new county library.
Okay,
I move approval.
okay. Well, it is a public hearing. We'll ask if there's anyone in the audience who has any, would like to speak about this matter. So come up to the podium. Anyone opposed or in favor? Okay, any discussion amongst the council?
I move approval.
Okay, so you make a motion to approve. Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, let's do a roll call vote again. Christie?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
And Bill?
Yes.
Okay. The next item, Eric, we'll let you go over this one.
This is amendment to the alcohol beverage license ordinance and basically clarifies the administrative responsibilities to administer the code. It removes distillery licenses going forward. It updates the code to coincide with the current state law. It extends the prohibition of sound amplification devices to in the patio open area to both breweries and wineries to be consistent throughout the ordinance. And it eliminates the requirement for a pouring license for employees of an establishment.
Okay. Any discussion amongst the council? Okay, do I have a motion?
We have to move and then they get to speak. You have to. Okay.
Yeah.
I move to adopt the ordinance BR 2023-9 with the following amendment. Delete section 6-196F Foxtrot and Section 6-241-D Delta relating to amplified music, and have these actions workshopped by the city council for further action.
Okay, and that is the amplified music for breweries, correct?
And wineries.
And wineries,
Those
okay.
two sections.
Okay, so those two, and then the other will stay in effect, okay. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, let's have a roll call vote. Christie?
Yes.
Do they get
Angie?
to talk first?
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah, we did forget that, so. Okay, does anyone want to speak in favor or opposition? What we are planning to do is have a workshop involving the amplified music with breweries and
Noise.
wineries. Yeah, in reference to that, so. Okay. Now we will have a roll call vote. You've already stated your motion, so I think that will be fine. Is that correct? Keep that in play, okay. Christie?
Yes. Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
And Bill? Okay. And we'll set a date for the workshop and let everyone know. The next item is consent agenda. Have you all had a chance to look at that? The non-budgeted expenditures. Okay, do I have a motion?
I so move the consent agenda be approved.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Christie,
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
And Bill. Bill? Did you say yes? Okay. The next item is, this is an action agenda item, and this is a resolution for the city of Blue Ridge. This is for an application for a mural, and Eric, since you were in charge of that with the DDA, if you will, please go over it. And
Is
you
it-
have
is-
you have in your packet also a copy.
This is a request for a mural at 240 West Main Street. And the backup is in your package. This was reviewed at the Downtown Development Authority meeting on April 3rd. They recommended approval, and the mural pictures in your backup package as well. Is there anybody here representing, okay. Do you want to come forward and? Please state your name and address.
Nicole Potsoff, I'm the Executive Director for the Blue Ridge Mountains Arts
Can you come a little
Association.
closer?
I'm so sorry.
A little closer, please.
My name is Nicole Potsoff. I am the Executive Director for the Blue Ridge Mountains Arts Association. Sorry, it was thought a beeper, an alarm was going off. We are overseeing the grant application for this mural. The intention is, because of the current ordinance, not to begin this until after July, if possible and approved. Currently, we have a location agreement by the owner of the property, which is Lisa Lagaman, and it is going to be on the side what is currently the cabin rental company, Southern Comfort. I wanted to say Southern Charm. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. This is Quinn Gutekunst. She is our festivals and public outreach coordinator who oversees all public art projects for the Art Center.
You guys have any questions? In reference to the mural?
The artist is Kelsey Montague. If you have any other information, I do have a packet and review as well, just to see her scope of work. She's worked within Nashville. She is more famously known for her wings and what lifts, and it's a very positive message. And so for us, it is a growth of part of that project, is the what lifts us. I guess hashtag is what she is in the program that she develops.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Any discussion amongst the council? Or Eric, do you have any further comments you'd like to add? Okay. So I guess at this time we need to either approve this resolution for the mural or we deny it. So do I have a motion by a council member? Okay. So no action. Do you want to table this until next meeting, or? What do you recommend, Eric?
Well, there's no action, so that means it's not approved.
Okay. So I guess it is not approved as of no action. Okay.
So what is the appeals process, or what is the vote process, seeing there is no action?
If you can just get with Eric,
Okay.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he can go over that with you.
Great.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, under reports, do we have any reports from the council or administration? Nope, okay. Moving on, the next item is public comments. If you would like to come up for public comments, just come up and state your name, and then you have 3 minutes total. And this isn't an question and answer session. Okay? Anybody who'd like to go first? Caesar's not listed yet. Well, he is actually, so if you want to. Yep, you are.
Cesar Martinez, representing the Downtown Business Association and the Downtown Development Authority. So in terms of the Business Association, just want to hand out, these are the new walking maps.
Oh, that's our walking map.
They're out and about.
Thank you.
So you will see that we printed 40,000 of those. The majority of them will be at the train station and be given away to the train participants. The other thing that we'll be doing is this summer we will be updating and replacing the You Are Here maps that you see around town. Those include everything that's on downtown. So that's really something that the Business Association does as a give back to the community, if you will. The other thing I'd like to talk about, just in terms of the Business Association, is I was not real happy to see the action that this council wants to take against Brian Higgins. Brian Higgins started something last year, which was something that does nothing but benefit the city, and that was the Chalk Festival. That was actually quite successful. The problem Brian had, and I worked with Brian on some of this because he came to me asking for my advice, because he's never done a festival. As you know, we do quite a few of them. So I helped Brian. What happened with Brian was that he got caught up in something that has happened to me a couple of times, where some of the applications that you put in don't happen quite as fast as you'd like them to. That was his only misstep. Other than that, the Chalk Festival was a fantastic festival. If you're going to go after Brian Higgins for something like that, you should probably come after me. I'm sure I've done worse things than him. But I am telling you, he is not the one to go after. He's done nothing but do good things for the city. He had no bad intention. I know that because I worked with him through that festival. And I'd be happy at any time to sit before this council and give him a recommendation. Anytime. So that's all I'm going to say about that. As far as the DDA concerns, I'm also extremely disappointed that this council says nothing about a mural application coming from the DDA. Nothing. There's no comment. There's nothing. How disappointing is that? You can't even say something negative if you don't like it. Am I done? No? Do I get 3 minutes for DDA? I do.
You do get 3 for each.
So, I don't know what it takes to get through to this council. You snub the DDA. You don't attend meetings, except for Christie, excuse me. What is it about this process that you guys are so afraid of? Do you not like the mural? I know I can't answer a question, and I know you're not going to answer it because that's another rule you're hiding behind. It's a rule that you put in place yourselves. You can certainly take it away, but you don't. You like to hide it behind it, so you don't have to answer those kind of questions. I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to have to answer those questions either. Just to let you know, it's extremely disappointing that you guys can't collaborate, and that's part of your values. Should you go back and read some of your values, the ones that you read 2 years ago, Dr. Whaley? About your values, collaboration's right up there in the middle of them. Where'd that go? You either live by them, or they're just words on a piece of paper. Thank you.
Okay,
Caesar, can I ask a question?
actually, no.
Can I ask you a question? We had previously asked when this is reprinted to put the city walking trail on it, which it isn't. So I'm sure that 40,000 will be given away and it will be reprinted.
Thank you. Okay, do we have someone else for public comments? Okay. Oh, not you. Okay. She's retrieving her phone. Okay. And if you will, please state your name.
Hold on just a second.
Okay, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Ready? Ready? My name's Donna Thompson.
Donna, will you speak into the mic, please?
Yes. If there are any dark clouds over Blue Ridge, they are starting right here. Agenda item number 8 is evidence. If we're going to target for the purpose of investigating matters of concern, then I would like to bring up some matters of concern the public has shared with me. Open meetings law. Your admission to multiple meetings held between the election and the first regular meeting. You were conducting city business and making decisions as elected officials. Again, open meetings law. For the special call meeting on October 17th, when you amended the agenda, 2 of you admitted it was wrong right in the meeting by your comments. You orchestrated those 2 October meetings with the intent to vilify 2 individuals in your kangaroo court. You forbid anyone to speak, even those you accused, yet it was okay to celebrate at the rooftop bar. I am constantly asked about your meeting policy. I agree with Caesar. Why is it so critical for you to silence the public? Why did you push the public hearing to the Planning Commission? Let's also review the intentional, I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, targeting and sharing rumors that you know are not true about Mayor Haight. Example, one of you called me about concerns of impropriety, yet I discovered that you had received emails 3 weeks prior to dispelled those rumors, yet it still continues. Let's get back to the meeting policy and decorum. Recent public post by Councilmember Bivens. This is it. Calling me an ignorant shit. And those are his words, not mine. And all for the statement that I did not make. Then mocking it at the meeting. It certainly speaks to the professional, courteous, and respectful conduct that you declare in your policy. All of you who voted on the last moratorium should familiarize yourself with fair housing law. You admitted this was targeting multifamily housing. And with regard to the meeting procedures, you need to learn how to make a proper motion. So moved is not a motion that follows, do I have a motion? The zoning ordinance had no motion. It is being swept under the carpet, and you approved the minutes tonight that stated it was approved. It wasn't. 2 statements have detailed what is going on with this council. Ms. Arp told me nothing would be put on the agenda without knowing it had the votes. Decisions are being made prior to public meetings. Even MJ Marple agrees on this one. Mr. Taylor insisted at one meeting, we have to make a decision as a unified group. I've never heard elected officials say that. You should be voting individually. All you have to do at meetings is watch you. The head shaking, no, mouthed words, intimidating looks, and whispering to each other. This is a witch hunt. You are playing with people's lives. Mayor Haight, Trevor Aiken, Ginger Rogers, a foundation, Brian Higgins, the Planning Commission, the DDA, and me. Your attacks to try to erase people out of service, out of the community, and all for power, all for control, and all for what? I caution you to remember the doctrine of unclean hands. Luke 12:48 states, to whom much is given, much is also required. As elected officials, much has been entrusted to you, and we expect more from you.
Okay, do we have anyone else who would like to speak? Oh, we'll let you come. And the gentleman coming up, if you will state your name, he did give us handouts. I passed them
Yes,
down.
my name is Dan Anderson, and I've given handouts to all of you already. And I'm here to say more of a cheerful note.
Can you also get closer to the microphone,
Yes.
please?
How about this? Okay,
Thank you.
that's got it.
Much better.
My name is Dan Anderson. I'm the president of the Fannin Canine Fund. We have other members here in our presence tonight is Carol Shannon and Linda Kiker. And this group is a 501c3 assisting the county in raising funds for a new 40-run animal control facility. We're here this evening to thank the city of Blue Ridge for helping sponsor this fundraiser that we're going to be having in the park. That will be Saturday, and it will be free to everyone. And we'll have a first-class band who's named Bluegrass Bourbon Revival. So we're inviting everybody to come out, and this is free to everybody, and we want to invite anybody in the whole county, as far as that's concerned. And also, I'm giving you a message from the county commissioners. They wish to thank the city for helping sponsor this fundraiser. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. Okay, do we have anyone else who would like to speak?
Hello, council. My name is Brian Higgins. I am a resident here of the city, and I was the one that was on the agenda tonight. So there's been lots of discussion about, excuse me, the entity that I had, which was called Friends of the Farmers Market, and more specifically, the funding that was involved with it. There's been a lot of statements, a lot of concerns. I've got pages of it here, and the one thing that keeps being brought up is I had sent an email to the chamber and said that on 6/15 I was a nonprofit, and there's a lot of paperwork saying, well, I was not, and that on 8/2 I was basically created as an entity. Well, what I would like to show you guys is here's the original document from June 15th, where clearly it states right here, nonprofit. This is Secretary of State, of course. Filing fees. Here's the registration fee, which was, also filed. So at this point, we were a nonprofit. Okay, so I sent that email after receiving this. No ill intent. Unfortunately, what we found, EIN number also granted from that same entity. What I would like to say is that unfortunately, we got a letter. We actually got it about 3 weeks later. It was on 7/6/22. Unfortunately, we didn't realize this until August 2nd, when I was applying for the alcohol permit. And what we have here is a deficiency notice, and what it basically comes down to is when this was filed, unfortunately it was filed as a foreign entity, meaning had we been an entity in Tennessee or North Carolina, we wanted to come here, that would have been the form we should have got. Unfortunately, it was an error, just simple human error. We immediately tried to correct it as soon as we figured it out. And on 8/2, that's when we filed for the other one, which is right here. Okay? As it turns out, unfortunately, that one was incorrect too. And we spoke to the Secretary of State. They said that we could amend it and that everything would be okay. So taking that information, I thought we were still a nonprofit. We then proceeded to get our alcohol permit through the city. I went through, and as a part of that, you have to submit these documents, of course, to the city of Blue Ridge, the guys that you represent. Here's that license that was issued to me after the city reviewed it, and it clearly says right here, Friends of the Farmers Market, nonprofit. From there, you continue to the state level. At the state level, I have this document. Reviewed and approved. Here's my state alcohol license. Friends of the Farmers Market, nonprofit. It's right there. So, on the morning of the event, which was September 9th, I received a phone call from our city administrator saying that unfortunately the error had been found. How it made it through the city level, I don't know. How it made it through the state level, I don't know. But the point is, it was there. And when Eric called me and said, hey, this is incorrect.
Okay, I would like to ask that the council give him an additional 3 minutes because this is something that has possibly impugned his character.
I so
Thank
move
you.
that you have an additional 3 minutes.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Okay.
Thank you. So Eric called the morning of the event, which was September 9th, early in the morning, and said, unfortunately, we've discovered, that this is incorrect. We immediately removed our beer and wine truck that we had delivered the night before. We put out a post on our Facebook page letting people know, unfortunately, our hands were tied and we could not do it. However, the event itself went off without a hitch. Dr. Whaley, of course, you were there, Mayor, Christie. The event, I think, was fantastic, as Caesar has stated. It was a great event, and we are an art community, and this was a type of art event that we've never had before, having a chalk event. The event itself was great. Unfortunately, it was not, as Caesar said, it was a huge success for us and for the farmers market. It may not have been a huge success, financially. We wound up putting a lot of our own personal money into it, and that's just the way it is. But we wanted to have a successful event for our community, and that's what we did. Moving forward, after the event, and after we realized that there was an error made, we did everything we possibly could to correct it. We then hired an attorney to dissolve the old entity and create it correctly, because obviously we messed up. Okay, so even after that, and this was in December, by the way. So after the fact, we felt like we still needed to correct any errors that we made, and moving forward, we still want to have events at the farmers market. This is something that, as you all know, I've ran on for a very, very long time, revitalizing our farmers market, and I still feel that way today. So, again, I do apologize. It was an honest mistake, no ill will. I spoke to Bill Bivens back in November. At that time, he told me everything was fine. Obviously, I've spoke with the city about this. I've spoke with the chamber about this. Every avenue, every inquiry has been fully satisfied. So here we are 7 months past the fact. I'm not exactly sure why it's being brought up now, but hopefully this clears some of the air. And if you guys have any questions, I'm right here. I would also like to state real quick that I think most of you know I have another nonprofit, which is the Soapbox Derby, who we have given over $11,000 to the Fannin County school system. It's something for the kids, it's something for the community. That's what we do. I also serve on the Humane Society board. I serve on the board for Family Connections. I would never, ever do anything to jeopardize those organizations, both the ones that I'm over or the ones that I'm a part of, and I would never do anything to jeopardize my relationship with the city. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. Okay. If you will, please state your name.
Hi, my name is Robert Gladle, and I live in Fannin County. I think it's pertinent to talk about three things: integrity, intention, and honor with regard to Mr. Higgins. Brian is my friend. He asked me to help him form Friends of the Farmers Market. I did. I screwed up filing an incorrect application for an LLC with the state. First time I screwed up, domestic. Second time I screwed up when I filed. Did you hear him say Robert Gladle screwed up? Did you hear him say anything that lacks honor or integrity? I don't think so. I have to ask a bigger question, and that's intention. What possible reason could we be pursuing this horrible transgression of a misfiled nonprofit at this time of the year? Could it be to discredit someone who opposed a perspective or stood up against what I believe is perceived wrongdoing, or the rubbish that was printed about an individual without the facts? It's ironic to me that in this day and age, we impugn integrity for blood sport. Why? For personal gain. My mother was a politician. She used to tell me, people will show us who they are. I believe y'all have shown us clearly who you are.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak, please? Again, state your name.
Sure. My name's Brian Avery. I live here in Fannin County, and actually had no intention to speak tonight at all until I saw the agenda piece with Brian Higgins on it. I'm a member of the Blue Ridge Business Association. I'm an ambassador for the chamber. I own a business here in this area, and I've known Brian since we moved here and involved with him a lot with Luncheon Leads and other factors. I guess my biggest question is, and I don't know all the details, apparently I can figure out some from this, but my question more so than anything is, why was this not resolved in public? Why was it not resolved in private and brought out here? Is maybe it was tried, but it doesn't sound like it. Brian, and everything he's ever done, everything I've ever seen him do, is nothing but for the benefit of this county, for the benefit of the city, and for the benefit of the people in this community. And I don't know why we'd seem like a witch hunt was going on for Brian, but just from speculation and what I'm seeing, that's what it sounds like. And it's unfortunate that somebody that puts themselves out for this community, that does good for this community, has been doing this for years in this community, would be vilified in a public setting. This is my 2 cents.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
My name is Sandra Darty, and I live in Fannin County. I've attended several of these meetings, so I've watched you guys, and I intend to continue to watch you guys. Brian, I don't think did anything wrong intentionally. He's done a lot of good for this city and for the county. Look at how much money they raised last year just on that car race thing that he was involved in and worked so hard with, and was able to give so much money to the school, to whatever the name of that program is. But anything, I think you ought to think long and hard before you evict him or ruin his reputation. I'm watching you. I didn't vote for you guys, but I encouraged one of you anyway. Please run. I think you'll do a good job. Don't disappoint me. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Can members of the council speak now or no?
You can vote to do away with your policy and speak if you would like to
Okay,
make a motion to do that. And then you can
Can
speak.
we make a statement as a citizen?
Sure,
We can?
yeah, of course.
I'm Bill Whaley. I practice medicine in this community. I am a little bit concerned by the seemingly overwhelming painting of the city council with a paintbrush that doesn't belong on the city council, in my opinion. As Brian said, I attended the event that he's speaking of. After the event, I talked with him, and I had a feeling that the people here have expressed that he was unsophisticated, inexperienced in this, and I'm very, very glad Caesar said the same thing, because this ain't easy. And I did not believe at that point in time that there was any ill intent or any laws had been broken, and I've said so since as a private citizen. But each person seemed to say the city council is doing this. I personally don't feel like you can say the city council is doing anything. As I said a few weeks ago, our meetings are open, the agendas are published, the workshops are open, and you'd be surprised how silent the community is between meetings. I have a email that's on the city council website. I have a cell phone that is well advertised, and I have had zero comments in the last 6 months from any citizen about anything that did not come from a patient sitting at my desk or a social event with people that I know. So if people believe we're not listening, they're not paying any attention. And Donna, there was one person on this board who stood up for you publicly and loudly because I felt that you deserved it. And I still do. And I still think that your attention that you pay to things and your attention to detail is to be admired. And I don't agree with everything that you said. I don't agree with everything my wife says, for crying in the night. I don't agree with everything my partners say, for crying in the night. But I do not feel that I nor other members of the council deserve some of the sort of vitriolic criticism that I've heard tonight. So as a private citizen, that's my opinion. Doesn't have a thing to do with how I'm going to vote on anything unless I think it's right. And I have previously said this item was removed from the agenda with my approval because I did not believe that we had sufficient information. I failed to vote at a last meeting on an item that came up because I did not have sufficient information. I make my living making life and death decisions for you and your families, and I will not make them without adequate information.
Thank you. Okay, would anyone else like to speak? Okay. With that being said, we do not need to go into executive session tonight. No reason for that, so I'm going to adjourn the meeting. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for attending. And if you're here from Leadership Fannin and need signatures, we'll be glad to sign them for you. So, yeah, I see several of you out there.